It's my pleasure to welcome you all to the 44th week of the weekly talk, which is named as Saturday Manufacturing Talks, which is associated with the Center of Excellence in Advanced Manufacturing, headed by Professor Sujapal here. And in the Center of Excellence in Advanced Manufacturing, lots of activities are happening which are really all for the day and which have lots of potential for most of the not only manufacturing but in other industries. We mainly focused on the applications of Industry 4.0 aligned or associated activities, implementation of the same in advanced manufacturing. Professor Pal has initiated this step. This is the 44th week. We have with us for the 44th week present on the topic on Industry 4.0 in steel making by one of the eminent and very experienced personalities, Mr. Sanjeev Kumar. Welcome to you, sir. Before I hand it over to you, it's my privilege to introduce you to the audience. Sri Sanjeev Kumar has been associated with Steel Authority of India Limited, the Government of India, for the past 35 years and has a vast experience in the field of process automation, electrical instrumentation, IT, logistics, and manufacturing. Presently, he is serving ISCO Steel Plant Burnpur as Chief General Manager, where he has been driving the digital transformation in their 2.5 MT integrated steel plant and is considered as the pioneer in devising strategy for implementation of Industry 4.0 tool for steel manufacturing towards improving productivity, quality, and customer experience. He is actually an electrical engineering graduate with PG diploma in management. If we see, he has a very broad spectrum of expertise and experience. The Industry 4.0 as a topic for today for steel making will not only provide us or enlighten all of us about the usage of advanced issues for productivity, improving productivity, quality, customer satisfaction, but also it will be implicitly aiding us to adhere to a lot of new norms which have come up in production manufacturing area. And one of them probably will be maintaining the production target, maintaining safety targets, and making the efficiency and utilization of every component of the industry optimized. So, with a brief description and introduction of the speaker, I welcome Mr. Sanjeev. Start your presentation.
Well, thank you, sir. Shall I start?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Is my voice clear?
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely clear.
Okay, thank you, sir. I'm just starting my presentation. Namaskar to all the attendees. It is indeed a privilege to be talking on this COE platform of IIT Kharagpur. And please do accept my sincere thanks for providing me with this opportunity. In fact, the topic for today's webinar was chosen by Professor Surya Pal himself, and I grabbed it with both hands since I have been living with the dream of making my company a leader in digital transformation by using the tools provided by the fourth industrial revolution. What you are seeing on your screen is the drone shot of my plant, that is ISCO Steel plant, one of the largest blast furnace in the country that we lovingly call Kalyani may be seen in this photograph. It is capable of producing 27 lakh tons of hot metal every year. Moving on. Before delving into the topic of the webinar, let us try to understand why per capita consumption of steel is considered as a prime index of socio-economic development of a country. It is primarily due to the fact that it is a versatile material for all the applications, be it infrastructure development or daily use. The second most important point is that its production cost is pretty low. Yes, energy for extracting iron from ore is 25% of that of aluminum. And that is why steel production is 20 times higher compared to all non-ferrous metals put together. Steel is essentially an alloy of iron and carbon and accounts for 95% of the total global metal industry. It is environment friendly as it is highly recyclable. We can remelt used steel and scrap. At present, more than 3,500 different grades of steel exist. 75% of the grades were developed in last 20 years to meet special engineering applications as per industry's requirement. Steel and nation building go hand in hand. Now, I'll just like to talk about my company, Steel Authority of India Limited. It is in steel making business, and our integrated steel plants, as you can see in the map, are located at Bhilai, Bokaro, Rourkela, Durgapur, and Burnpur, where I work, and special steel plants are at Bhadravati, Durgapur, and Salem. You must have heard of Salem Stainless. We have 21 captive mines also to meet our raw material requirements. We have pan-India presence through a strong distribution and sales network. With around 64,000 employees, we produce around 18 million tons steel and are ranked 24th globally in crude steel production. These are some of the projects for which sales steel have been used. You can see Statue of Unity at Gujarat, Boggybill Bridge, then Worli Bandra Sea Link. And next, you can also see Atal Tunnel. This is Ganga Railroad Bridge, and this is Chenab Bridge, Dhola Sadia Bridge, and Nabi Nagar. That is Power Generation Company Limited. The plant where I work, that is ISCO, was established in 1870 at Kulti and has the distinction of being the oldest steel plant of modern India. Later, in the early 20th century, you can say Burnpur facilities were developed. Sir Biren Mukherjee may be seen here lighting coke oven battery at Burnpur way back in 1922. PM Modi inaugurated the new plant in May 2015, and at present, ISCO is the youngest SAIL plant having the latest state-of-the-art technology. We have embarked upon the digital transformation journey in the right earnest and aspire to be the front runner in this field. Coming to steel making, sir, All I would say that it is a complex and hazardous process punctuated by high temperature and toxic gases. Handling tons of molten metal is indeed a tough ask. Steel making process has blast furnace at its heart. As can be seen, iron ore lump, sinter, and coke is fed to the blast furnace for producing hot metal, which in turn gets converted to liquid steel in SMS before getting cast as billets and blooms. In rolling mills, these get converted to finished steel. Then we come to this industrial revolution saga. The fourth industrial revolution, as you all know, has started, and people belonging to my age group should consider themselves lucky to be part of both third and fourth industrial revolutions. India lost the opportunity provided by the first two industrial revolutions. We could not, follow the developed nations. And however, we did catch up in the third. Yes, today, you know, almost all leading IT companies of the world have Indian CEOs. But as far as Industry 4.0 bandwagon is concerned, we woefully lag in joining. Anyways, most of the major steel players, for that matter, all manufacturing industries are keen on adopting Industry 4.0 tools like artificial intelligence driven data analytics, cloud computing, augmented reality, digital twinning, etc. Do you know why? The primary reason is it improves your EBITDA, your bottom line. You all would appreciate that each industrial revolution helped in the reduction of production cost of goods. In Industry 4.02, the main idea is to seize the potential of new technological concepts such as internet, IoT, AI, blockchain, integration of technical and business processes, digital mapping, and smart manufacturing, basically to minimize cost. The rise of fourth industrial revolution is having widespread impact on business, turning many assumptions and practices upside down. For one thing, the increasing effectiveness of AI technology is threatening many jobs, like in journalism and the financial sectors, where repetitive reports can often be composed by smart algorithms now. On the other hand, its non-adoption would make your company non-viable. It is like adopt or perish. We do not have any other option. We have to board this I40 bandwagon for our own survival. Things have dramatically changed. Instead of the economy being primarily about goods, it has now become about data. And intangible value is exceeding, I would say, the tangible ones. The growth of companies like Google, Amazon, and Facebook, these modern giants, they are all built primarily on data. And it is a clear sign of how the fourth industrial revolution is changing the world. What do these changes mean for steel? Please note that steel requires continuous processing. It is a sequential operation. As discussed earlier, it is a hazardous process with liquid steel kept at high temperatures, moving at high speeds. Poisonous gases abound. These new technologies are allowing steel companies to go for optimal and flexible production in place of scheduled and static production. data and pattern-based control in safety and environment, detection of defects on the line itself in place of quality control after production, predictive maintenance, energy optimization, reduction in inventory, and grow more flexible and responsive to customer needs. It is now possible that all information related to steel supply and demand is made available to producers and customers, leading to unprecedented transparency and efficiency towards what we call customer delight. Now, this is the result of a survey conducted for CEOs of leading firms that have already started digital transformation. Please note that all the needs expressed by different respondents, that is productivity, quality, cost competitiveness, and customer experience, lead to improvement in the bottom line of the financials. All of them subscribe to the view that computer, cloud, artificial intelligence combined make a lethal combo that is set to change the way we work in future, and are sanguine on reaping benefits within an year or two of deployment. Each business leader today wants their factory to be smart so as to have higher competitiveness, better value creation, and data-driven decisions become a key here. The combination of excellence in information and communication technology, that is ICT, with domain expertise, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data analytics ensure right decision the first time and every time, making the organization, gallop forward. Smart factory domain excellence combined with Industry 4.0 tools that uses digital technology to allow seamless sharing of information between people, machines, and sensors. These are what we call smart factory, and we at SAIL ISP are taking rapid strides in that direction. Going forward, we got to have a clear-cut vision for digital transformation just to ensure that we are not thrown out of the steel making business by those companies who choose to be early adopters. Accordingly, our vision is to be a data-driven, end-to-end connected organization. In line with our vision, SAIL ISP Burnpur has embarked upon its digital transformation journey with the goal of achieving the industry best performance metrics for agility, quality, productivity, profitability, customer experience, environment, and social responsibility through data insights. This goal would be reached through our mission to establish a lean and agile business process driven by digitally enabled customer-centric ecosystems with 100% data literate employees at its core. Now, coming to the strategy that we have adopted for digital transformation, DBOT is the acronym for our strategy for digital transformation. The first letter D stands for data. That sits at the core of the strategy. Foolproof data management is a must for data democratization so that the right data is made available to the right people for decision making. The second letter, B, is for business that focuses on digital lean manufacturing. Lean means fast, flexible, cohesive. The end objective of lean is to identify and eliminate, or may I say change, any part of a process that does not add value. Digital lean business aims to reduce defects, inventory, overproduction, transport, movement, waiting time, and overprocessing through data-driven insights. The third letter, O, stands for organization. Organization with digital culture. Unless and until each employee of the company does not believe in the power of digital transformation from the core of its heart, the paradigm shift in manufacturing we have envisaged cannot fructify. We are lucky to have very supportive top leadership that has understood the importance of Industry 4.0. But the digital culture needs to be inculcated in one and all for success of this endeavor. Just excuse me. The last letter T is for technology upgrade in the areas of IT/OT infrastructure, network security and connectivity, data storage, cloud, etc. Competency building for this transformation is of utmost very, very important. Now the key areas that lists our approach is formation of DX functional team and strengthening of digital infrastructure, cultural transformation, and capability building initiatives. So in functional team, we have core team and cross-functional team. For digital infrastructure, we have strengthened our network connectivity, cyber security, then our speed also, and the cultural transformation has center of excellence at its core. Then reverse mentoring we have taken up, where young executives are tutoring our senior management people, CGMs and EDs, and regular interactions are taking place with various startups, data scientist program also we have done. Then we have academia, startup, I would say collaboration for capability building initiatives. Next. Now we have this Apex committee, and this Apex committee is basically the corporate level committee, where we are having a sharing of learning, and the whole company is having a standard procedure, and then monitoring of progress is also being done. So, the focusing on strengthening of digital infrastructure, IIoT devices and all that we discussed, and all these things are taken care by this core committee. They also make the roadmap, and then the next committee, which is our CFT members that we call Meghdoots, they are basically driving our cultural transformation, which is of utmost importance. They are reverse mentoring, as I discussed. They are also training the employees, and they are acting as a bridge between the core committee and other stakeholders. Next. So cultural transformation, as I already discussed, we have formed some center of excellence and reverse mentoring and all that we are doing. interaction with academia like IIT Kharagpur, BIT Sindri, Triple IT is also on the regular basis. And then the Industry 4.0 applications that we have adopted at ISP is generally centered around production simulation, accelerated process development, improved process performance and stability, energy management, predictive asset management, process safety, digital twinning, process management and control, and operator training simulation. And in the forecasting side, we have also this demand forecasting and sales forecasting, and inventory management is also there. Employee safety and productivity, we accord utmost importance, and these are the few areas: personal safety, equipment safety, contractor employee safety. All these things we strictly monitor and follow through these data-driven technologies. Next, we come to logistics. Like we have in-plant logistics where we have vehicle tracking system. We can locate wherever a vehicle is, and then we have material movement tracking also. So all this improves your TAT, and utilization is enhanced and rules are complied. And inventory management also, we have LIFO, FIFO management, warehouse, yard management, process and WIP tracking, inventory tracking and all. So this enhances the visibility, and smart utilities are also extensively employed in our company. Street lighting management, energy metering, water metering, gas metering. All this is for lower energy consumption and, as I said, lean business, minimizing losses. And moving on, we have environment monitoring also, where we monitor gases and illumination and all HVAC. These things are monitored, and that is all coming on dashboards, which I will sharing shortly. And then we have the smart township concept, where as you can see, we have transformer monitoring, street lighting management, water quality management, smart metering solutions, and security intrusion alarm. Next, just to say that what are the areas of opportunity for steel industry, I would say key areas: energy, resource efficiency, environment, safety, and operational and commercial excellence, and optimization, increasing yield, CO2, greenhouse gases, then safety, order tracking, order processing, inventory control. And these are also vertical digitalization drivers. So as you can see, two kinds of drivers: industry drivers and customer needs. So minimum in process inventory, minimum downtime, process and occupational safety, and customer wants good quality, transparency, customization, and we are also concentrating on delivery in full on time in a specification, that is DFOTIS. And then response also, we have order tracking system for customers also. So some of the digital and analytics driven use cases that we have in our coke ovens, we have optimized blending, control and improvement of AMS. Some of these are in operation and others are in testing phases. So increasing utilization of CDQ, cooking time optimization, coke push force optimization, sinter RI improvement, carbon rate reduction, sinter waste gas fan energy efficiency of coolant fan, flux optimization at sinter plant. In blast furnace, likewise, we have a burden distribution model, and then BF fuel rate, coke rate reduction, silicon control. This we have taken up with IIT Kharagpur in collaboration with IIT Kharagpur. We are in the final stage of implementing this. Then unplanned downtime reduction in blast furnace. SMS also, we have a ferroalloy optimization model. Then optimizing addition of DS reagent. So all these different areas we are working also in our mills for improving yield, power and utilities also. So these are some of the digital and analytics driven use cases we are aiming at ISP, and a large number of these have already been implemented. And next we come to this data scientist program that we were having. We continually have this e-Pathshala program where we have our engineers attending courses, online courses as well as offline courses, and around 32 practitioners in advanced analytics are already there in our unit. So as you can see, at working units and at operational management unit, we have advanced analytics experts available. And then moving on, I would like to say that if asked about the interpretation of Industry 4.0 for steel industry, we have the cyber physical production system, which we have made. It's a vertical integration, and almost all digital dashboards are prepared. Now machine to machine connectivity is also being looked at. And otherwise, people to machine connectivity is already there. And so is machine to process connectivity. And intensive networking and communication is already there. And 100% traceability of final products and intermediate products is also available. So drones we have purchased, and we are using drones not just for our safety and surveillance. It is also being used for inspection, and we are also planning to deploy it in our raw material handling plant. And moving on, we have this assessment tool available. This has been made available to us by McKinsey. So digital novice, vertical indicator, horizontal collaborator, and digital champion. So these are the 4 levels. So in some of the levels, we are not yet digital champion, but we have been able to vertically and horizontally integrate. And in all the areas, we are working assiduously. And moving on, at ISP, which we call the digital enterprise, we have all the data analytics and IoT as core capability. So we are moving towards smart factory, and IoT platforms are already there. Then in ISP, most of the parameters are captured through DCS and PLC. So those are also captured. Data capturing is almost now 100%. And we are now into advanced algorithm and all. And cloud computing also we have adopted. And 3D printing we are yet to start, but during my visit at IIT Kharagpur, I saw 3D printing printer was upcoming. So maybe we can utilize that also for our benefit. And this is the short-term, mid-term, and long-term plan that we have. So digital value chain and processes, and digital business models, and digital products and services, and data analytics and big data. So you can see from the focal point, we have different levels. Short term, we have already completed since we began our journey towards digital transformation some time back. So almost all the points written in the short term area are covered. Mid term also, some of them we have covered. And long term, we are in the process of making it. And these are some of the digital transformation initiatives that we have taken. And you can see, as I was discussing, various dashboards have been made. And this is for Cocovan battery. Then this is for Sinter. And then we have this for blast furnace. And this blast furnace continues. We have stave condition monitoring system also there. And then this is for our steel melting shop, where we have asset condition monitoring and life cycle management system also. And then delay management, trends, graphs, all these things are available on mobile. You can see the mills online. This is like overview of parameters in WRM, and all mixed gas parameter monitoring, WRM, bar mill, temperature monitoring. And besides this, we have also some models. So these models are very handy. I've already discussed some of those. And asset condition monitoring is also available, where we can have the current, vibration, speed, bearing temperature and all. This is ladle life cycle management, where we can know how many heats have gone through those ladders. This is the model for coke rate optimization, heat rate model. Then staves are there in blast furnace. So stave monitoring is also very critical. So for that, we have this stave conditioning monitoring. And then for all those things, we have online logbooks, automatic delay management, burden collection calculation model is also there for raw material optimization in blast furnace. So many models and digital dashboards are there. They have been developed in-house and now in collaboration with startups and IIT Kharagpur, institutes like IIT Kharagpur, as I told, BIT Sindri and Triple IT. We are also marching forward for more of digital interventions in our company. And this we have already discussed. This augmented CCTV surveillance system we also have. We have around 210 IP-based cameras, and these are all AI enabled. So artificial intelligence and all is very, very important. And this is like I would say the takeaway. And basically, we have to focus on changing the organization culture, the confluence of cloud computing, data analytics, and artificial intelligence is lethal, and non-adoption is not an option. And again, digital transformation has to be thought not as a data science project. Each pillar, including operation and maintenance and other functions, also need to buy it. So this is also important. And combination of both domain and advanced analytics is required. Otherwise, we may land up data misleading us. So we have to be very careful. Data management is one big area where we need to work on, because we need to have the right data to right people for taking right decisions timely also. So this is very important. And we have not gone for massive external recruitments. Rather, we are developing our in-house capabilities, and that is the way forward we look forward to. In some cases, we will be appointing experts, and then uh, implementation has to be in such a way that the end is always very clear. And our idea is to start small and but have the big picture in mind, so that even if we fail fast and then recover. So uh, to conclude, I would say that digital transformation is similar to weight loss. We all know what the benefits are, but getting there can be extremely difficult. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I'm open to any questions if they are there.
Thank you, Kumar, for a wonderful discussion session with all your projections about what has been done, what is possible, what you are going to
Sir, you are not audible. Can you be a little louder?
do. So, am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good, good. So, thank you, Mr. Kumar, for your very enlightening and excellent presentation, describing the things which you have already done and also the plans and future tasks that you have in mind. So, I'm really very happy to see that under your leadership, ISCO is really going to come up with proper digital transformation. And of course, with our Center of Excellence of Advanced Manufacturing, we
Sir,
are.
again, you are not audible.
Hello, again, I'm not audible. Am I audible now?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
Professor Sujabhat, would you like to continue? Let me see what about my network.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So Mr. Kumar, it's really a wonderful presentation. I must say, I must appreciate that. And you have rightly told that the steel industry, there are a lot of scopes are there from the beginning till the end, because it's a sequential operations and all. And so you have rightly pointed out the each and every stage where the possibility of the digital transformations are there. And I'm glad to see that in most of the cases you have rightly pointed out, and you have also started working on to this thing. And the good thing is that the major initiatives are taken in-house. So the unless industry, in my understanding, interacting with the various industries and all, what I feel is that the initiative has to be taken from the company itself, and then company must have the proper bandwidth of in-house the implementation. Otherwise it's very difficult to the purchase the technology from the elsewhere and implement it at each and every stage. So the major amount of work has to be generated within the infrastructure or the manpower that you have. So it's a wonderful the presentation. And there are a lot of scopes where the academic institutes like IIT, and you have also mentioned the PIT and other institutes can help you in developing some of the predictive models because you have got the enough data. So the data at each and every stage where we can develop models for for ISP Burnpur or any other steel plants, and we'll be more than happy to work with you in future. Yeah, that much I can say. And there may be some questions from the audience. Let us see the chat box. Yeah, so there is no such question as such. I'm requesting audience, if you have got any question, please, do write in the chat box. There are a lot of appreciations, very progressive information, excellent presentation. And Dr. Sonat Agarwal mentioned that very informative talk session. Thanks to Mr. Sanjay Kumar for taking time out and deliver lecture. Yeah, that's indeed. Any question from any? Please share some insights of that on capacity building. So can you say something on that? Hello. Mr. Kumar, can you hear us?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Yeah. So, I'm requesting audience, please, if you have got any specific questions.
One of the audience has asked you to share some more insights on capacity building. So, Mr. Kumar, can you throw some light, please?
Yes, this digital transformation is basically centered around data. And data analytics plays a huge role if we want to deploy any of the intervention properly. So capability building primarily consists of development of data scientists. Capability building has to not just be around the technical aspect. It has to be around people also, as I have been talking about culture. So unless and until we have a set of employees who believe in the power of digital transformation, this digital transformation cannot take place. So across all the levels of the organization, we need to have mass communication workshops as well as training sessions for making the organization data literate. People should be able to derive meaning out of data. And once they are capable of understanding what data is pointing to, they will be able to nip any problem at the bud stage itself. So for capability building, while it is very important to have some experts in handling data, handling network security, handling this analytics part, some AI experts, some architecture experts, but at the same time, different levels of people, maintenance people, operation people, they need to be educated about the value of data that is available to them. And if we open up the data to everybody, it will become very difficult for people to derive meaning. So whatever data a certain person requires for his domain of working in his area of decision making, that data set should be made available. And if he needs more data, that also needs education to that person, because to derive meaning of out of data storytelling is another area where people can work. So these are the capabilities I was pointing to.
Thank you. I hope it has answered the query raised by Mr. Chandranath Kumar. So there's another small query by Sitangshu Chakravarti. Are you recruiting computer science engineers more of them compared to other streams these days? Say it's about recruitment. So you may wish to
Yeah,
like.
so we actually are in two minds because we don't want to recruit freshers per se. We would like to recruit some engineers, some data scientists, some network experts who have some industry experience, say for 6, 7 years, so that we can recruit at our deputy manager level or so. So that we are just, thinking of. But as of now, there has been no increase in recruitment of computer engineers.
Thank you. Another query from Dr. Sushant Rath. How do you store data, local server or cloud? And if you use cloud, which cloud do you use?
Initially, we were using Microsoft Azure, but since the volume of data has increased to, I would say now it's a mammoth, we are going for our own cloud. So our strategy is like for the applications uh, that are employed, that are already in use. We would like to have the data on our on-premise server, and other data would be synced with the cloud that we are already in the process of procuring. So we have planned that some 15 days data would be on on-premise server. And that is, I'm talking of OT data, not IT data. For IT data, we have a separate SAP system. So that SAP system is already on cloud. That is on HANA Enterprise Cloud. We are having S4 HANA at our ERP. So that is a separate part. For that, we have already cloud. But for OT data, some data is on Microsoft Azure, and we are going for enterprise private cloud also.
Thank you. Another clarification on enlightening on how manufacturing companies can boost data analytics skills of manpower. Sujapal, can it's
Yeah,
yeah.
it was largely covered, but I would again repeat, like online courses are available on Coursera and all, and we have taught a lot, many of our engineers Python. We have a system of reimbursement also. And we have our e-Pathshala program where anybody who is interested in any kind of course can just get enrolled and do the course. So those sorts of mechanisms we have in place in our organization. And uh, if you want to learn, of course, internet is a huge resource, but apart from that, online courses are conducted, and even we call some of the experts in our premises for classroom teaching. Come COVID, it has, almost become, say, 4 or 5 every year. But earlier we used to have many programs.
Thank you. A small comment probably from V. Vasini, ex-unit head SRU Vilai. Now is right time beginning at sale apex level for assimilation of continually developing tech, which is probably what you have already told.
Hmm.
And yeah, Mr. Arindam wants to know what are your thoughts on SAIL ISP's position in digital transformation compared to global leaders in steel making? Is it providing competitive advantage to SAIL?
Uh, Frankly, I would say we are not at par with our global peers like, say, POSCO and maybe Nippon Steel. But as far as Indian players are concerned, I have gone through all the analytics that they have, Tata Steel, Jindal, and we are having all the models that they have in position. So definitely, in terms of competitiveness, we are at par with domestic players, and we are catching up with global players.
Very good. Thank you. Next question from Mr. Supreme. Okay, Supreme Sardar. He says, can you give some information about ISCO's self-mining projects and government policies about that?
Self-mining means, is it captive mining?
Probably captive mining, because
Yeah,
yeah,
so
you told about
we
that.
have our captive mines. Actually, SAIL ISCO does not have any mine per se, because mines are handled centrally at our SAIL level.
Hmm.
But SAIL is sufficient in terms of iron ore mines. And uh, coal also, we have a few collieries with us. But for coal, we are also dependent on uh, our Australian coal. Some coal we import. Actually, most of the coal we import.
Procedure requirement and recruitment. Okay. So Himanshu wants to know online courses are valid for recruitment or not? Don't know.
That I'm not aware, but all I would like to say is that recruiters generally look for your skills and not the place from where you have the degree. So if you have acquired right skills through online courses, I think most of the recruiters would be only too happy to hire you.
Mhm. And Mr. Deepak Kumar wants you to kindly share your vision of ISP being lighthouse in digital transformation and steel manufacturing.
Mhm. Well, lighthouse is something which is, I think he's talking about World Economic Forum Global Lighthouse Network. So,
Mm.
World Economic Forum has a network of lighthouses, and it, encompasses industries across the total spectrum. So starting from industries in soft world to manufacturing, they enroll. And so far, around 90 lighthouses have been identified for, uh, I mean, uh, uh, Industry 4.0. So these lighthouses are basically beacon of light for starters. So as I said, POSCO has already got, and in India, Tata Steel has those lighthouse. They are also a member of that lighthouse. So we also intend to apply for that, uh, maybe 6 months down the line.
Thank you. Any further question from the audience, please? Yeah, one more. Does IIT KGP provide hand-holding support in developing data analytics skills? If so, please share details. How can we avail at organizational level?
I think Professor Surya can answer
Uh,
this.
No,
Yeah,
before handing to Professor Surya, just one moment. Mrs. Chandranath, you are from some organization? Are you? You should have at least mentioned. You are a student or some? Okay, Professor Surya Kumar. Yeah. Surya
yeah.
Kumar.
So it's a good question that whether IIT Kharagpur can provide the handholding support for developing the data analytics. The answer is absolutely yes. So we are the Center of Excellence in Advanced Manufacturing Technology at IIT Kharagpur. We are constantly in discussion with the industries. We started our journey with 6 industries. Out of that, 4 are the private sector and 2 are the public sector. And but after that, in a short span, in just after completing 3.5 years, we are now in touch with the industries like the Tata Motors, Tata Metallics, Larsen & Toubro, and the GRAC, the Garden DC Builders and all, and Alstom India. So the industries are coming forward, and we are giving them solutions to their the problems through AI ML intervention. So the analytics is a strong part of it, in addition to the image processing and other things. So we'll be more than happy to help you, Mr. Chandranath. So if you can come forward, our Center of Excellence, our email ID is coeamt@iitkgp.com. So I request Ananta to type this email ID in the chat box, and so you can write to us. You can write to me as well. You get my email ID in the IIT Kharagpur, the website. I'm from Mechanical Engineering Department and also heading the Center of Excellence in Advanced Manufacturing Technology.
There's one
I
more
think,
question.
yeah. So we had a lot of questions, and also we are on time. So it's a really wonderful thing, wonderful session. So, Mr. Sanjeev Kumar, we are extremely privileged and happy to have you today at this platform, and you have enlightened us your vision and also already the actions taken at the ISP Varnpur at various levels for digital transformation. And we'll be very much happy to work together to implement, to do the analytics, to implement the AIML things at various levels of steel industries. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's my privilege.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. I now request Ananta or Prabhanjan to let us know the speakers for the remaining weeks of this month. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Kumar. Yeah. So for the next week, the January 15th, would be a speaker from the University of Huddersfield in the UK. Again, it is also on the Industry 4.0 area on rotors sensing of spindle vibration. So the how vibration can be the information source of information for online monitoring of a machining process. And the next to that, on 22nd of January, again another speaker from the UK, University of Nottingham, Professor Axinti will be talking about the time-dependent manufacturing process, why the inverse problems need to be solved. And on 29th of Jan, we have got the speakers from University of Texas, Austin, Texas AM, health monitoring of cyber physical systems by Swaminathan Gopaliswamy. We are also scheduled, in the month of the February, and we'll be today. It was the 44th webinar, so that means 44th week we have completed. Only 8 more weeks to go to complete our the 52 weeks mega webinar series. So all the webinars are getting recorded, and if you have missed any webinar, you can also watch the video by scanning this code. With this, we'd like to close today's session. Thank you so much. I also look forward to your presence in coming Saturdays.